The Pat Travers Band bring their high-energy show to the Kent Stage Saturday night, August 24th. It's called We're Here to Kick Your Ass Tour. You can get your tickets right now at kentstage.org. That's kentstage.org. Ray Mancini and the Boom Boom Room caught up with Pat Travers. Here's that interview for ClevelandRockandRoll.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Boom Boom Room. I'm your host, Ray Mancini, and I got a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, a very special guest for a few reasons. Not only because of what a wonderful career he's had and everything, but we are connected in a very, very interesting way.
That's true.
And we'll be talking about that. But my next guest has been active for over 50 years.
Wow.
And how about that? That's a hell of a... Hey, any career, that's a hell of a career.
Yeah.
But he's a native, born and raised in Toronto, Canada. One of my favorite cities. One of my favorite cities in the world, Toronto, Canada. And he started his career. He's been active since 1970. Again, another thing we have in common. We have both been influenced by Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
I'm a big Jimmy fan. So, with no further ado, yes, Pat, yes, coming up, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, Pat Travers.
Hey, Pat. All right.
Pat, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Stand by 1 second.
I will do that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's talking to us from. All
right. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. You're doing this interview. You're between planes.
On the fly.
Literally, you're at the airport. You're between flights, and I get that. So I do appreciate your time. But Pat,
you know, Ray, you said that you're influenced by Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Yes.
I get that. Absolutely, because I've seen other athletes that just perform in a way that's like Jimi Hendrix, just total freedom and using the instrument in ways nobody else has ever used it. And, the same thing with your boxing techniques.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Pat, how I got turned on to Jimmy, me and my brother 5 years apart. Me and my sister are 13 years apart. Me and my brother are 5 years apart. Now, I was growing up with my sister listening to I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles, right? That was the first song I ever remember listening to. But then my brother was in I was listening to Jimmy when Jimmy was Jimmy, of course. And then of all the, and then, Deep Purple and all the heavy rock sound. And then, of course,
we got all the same
taste.
People. That's who I listened to. I got to see Hendrix when I was 13. I was just 13 years old. It was amazing. Just totally amazing.
It says when you saw,
I got to see Deep Purple and
Jesus, yeah.
And then I got to meet Deep Purple and know them. And the last time I saw them and played with them, they asked me to get up and play "Smoke on the Water" with them, which was, that would have been like some kind of fantasy, from when I was 17 or 18. But
Pat, it says
pretty cool.
You saw Jimmy perform in Ottawa. Is that what?
Yes, that's true.
Oh man, and
1968, March 19th, I think.
Wow, there you go. Yeah, and it's just of all the bands, I mean, look, you just mentioned Deep Purple. Now, I do a lot of. I'm working with a boxing promoter in England, and so we talk. He's from Cannock, which is a suburb of Birmingham. And every time I talk about Deep Purple, I talk about Zeppelin. He goes, "Well, he says, mate, they're from here." That's what he said. From Birmingham, and I didn't know
Birmingham. You got it. It's that Brum accent. Ooh, how you doing, old kid?
Yeah, exactly. It's a different accent than even English. But
it is.
I didn't know that.
There's so many bands. Judas Priest.
Judas Priest was there. That's right.
Like Wolverhampton.
Wolverhampton. That's my guy's favorite soccer. Wolverhampton Wolverines. The Wolverines.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's where Ozzy's from.
Yes, exactly. I was just going to say it. And he said, Ozzy's from here, mate. I said, no, I did not know that. But he said, we got it. He said, but Deep Purple, and he actually got to know his father. His father had the oldest running nightclub in London forever. and I'm trying to think of a name. It had a name like it was just a simple name, it was like Jangles or Jing, something like that. And I went, and it ran forever. And his father had the longest running nightclub, and now he has a place. But he said everybody used to come in and play at his father's joints. And
right.
It's fascinating.
I'm trying to think of one name place that it could be.
I'm going to think of it. I'm going to get it for the show. I'm going to text them. I'll find that out. But then it says like early on, your early groups were called what? The Music Machine, Red Hot, and then the Merge,
Wow, talk about ghouls from the past.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
No, that's amazing that you've. Somebody's done some research.
Well, you got to.
Yeah, those were, Music Machine was one of the first bands I had with my older brother Kevin, and I had my school buddy Stephen Peacock on drums. I guess I was 14 when we did that. And then a year later, then came Red Hot, which we had a singer, and it was pretty, we had fun.
Pat,
and then I started playing in bars and nightclubs when I was 16, Did that for 4 or 5 years and played with a guy named Ronnie Hawkins in Toronto for a year.
Yeah,
that was a great education. And then after that, that's when I went to London, England, and was lucky enough to
it's funny.
make some connections and get a record deal and a manager and everything else.
And you talk about Deep Purple. I was looking at some of the texts. Me and my guy. It was Glenn Hughes. Glenn Hughes is from Cannock.
Oh, yeah.
He's from Cannock. He's from Cannock, where my guy, that's where he's from.
Oh, no, Glenn and I go way back. I met Glenn in 1976 in London.
Wow.
Because my manager at the time was also from Birmingham. So he knew Glenn.
Yes.
And Purple were playing in town. And so he introduced me to Glenn because I was a huge fan.
Yeah, of course.
Of his voice. His vocals were just amazing. I recorded with Glenn on his first solo album, and then we've played together a number of times over the years. And I saw him earlier this year on a cruise on the Monsters of Rock cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Pat, I'd like to know about your early life once again. So many guitar players, great guitar players like yourself that I run into and I get a chance to talk to. You're all self-taught. Did you ever take music lessons?
No, not really. My uncle, Hank, owned a music store. And he also, gave guitar lessons, and I'll be okay for the moment. And so when we first moved to Ottawa, which is where his store was, I was only 12, and asked him to bring me a guitar home from his shop. And he brought me a little cheapy Harmony guitar, and he taught me how to tune it and how to play a kind of a rock and roll boogie woogie pattern on the guitar. And that was it. And so after that, I just, I had the Mel Bay Easy Guitar Method book. And, I just started going and seeing anybody who played. Didn't matter what kind of music it was, just trying to soak it all up.
Pat, most people, I'm going to tell you a story how I played your song as my intro song when I went into the ring. I'll tell you how that came about. But everyone thinks that you wrote it for me. I said, no. No, seriously. I said, no. That's an old blues song that, correct me if I'm right, is an old blues song. I believe he's by Little Walter did, right?
It was Little Walter from about 1951, maybe, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, but I think it was written by Stan Lewis. I read Stan Lewis.
Yeah. Well, see, that's debatable.
Yeah.
Because Stan Lewis actually was just a guy from Shreveport, Louisiana, that bought up publishing, that bought up songs.
I got you.
From blues guys, paid them one time $50.
Yes.
And then that song became Stan Lewis, and he's not the writer, but he owns the publishing.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, everyone, like I said, everyone thought you wrote it for me. And I said, no, man, that's been around long before I started. Here's how I come about how that became my entrance song. This is a true story. The day of my pro debut, October 18th, 1979. I didn't have an entrance song. Most people were going in the ring to the Rocky theme, right? So they said, what's your entrance song going to be? And I go, I don't know. I guess Rocky. I want something different. I'm trying to find something. But my sister she was driving in a car after, and it came on the radio. She said, oh, that's got to be it. She went to the record. This true story. She went to the record store, bought the cassette of that song, of your album. That song. Come home, said, this has got to be it. And my manager said, boom, boom, I'll go lights. He goes, oh, man, the title itself makes sense. And when we listened to it first, I said, man, that's it. That's got to be it. And so from that point on, and you know how many people I talk to every time they see me, boom, boom, I'll go to lights.
It's pretty powerful.
Oh, it's strong. It's strong, Pat. But I'm so appreciative of you doing that song, and I appreciate it that it came as such a big hit because it's funny.
Maybe in a way, I did come up with that tune for you.
Yeah, maybe.
A little bit before you needed it.
Yeah, that's the truth. Hey, Pat.
Or at least it was ready when you needed it.
That's exactly right. That's for sure. But I'm telling you, people think you wrote, and I laugh. I go, no, man, he didn't write it for me. But it's, it's such a great song. What made you? First of all, what made you love? You gotta love that song, and it's a blues song. So obviously, you changed it to make it more upbeat, make it a rock song. So how did that come about?
The thing, I was only 13, and they would have in Ottawa, they would have like the fair every summer for a couple of weeks, and they had area for young kids, for teens and stuff called Where It's At, and that's where all the bands played. And my uncle's store provided the back line and the PA and stuff. So, I was there helping out. I was only 13. And there was this band from Hamilton called, a guy called King Biscuit Boy, Richard Newell. And it was a blues band, and he played harp. And they did that song, and I only heard it one time, when I was 13. But when we were recording my very first album in early 1976, we were short one tune, and I remembered that song. And we were able to get an album with that song on there.
Wow.
We did a studio version with piano. It was pretty traditional, more like the original version. But once we started playing it live, it kind of took on its own identity. And then one night I just took a chance and asked them all to sing Out Go the Lights, and they did.
Oh, man. Pat, when that song would come, everyone waited, and then the whole audience, the crowd would yell, Out Go the Lights. And then it became wherever I went, that's what they did. And like I said, it's awesome. So perfect. It's so perfect. It's so perfect for for a fighter.
It's such great hype in the truest
meaning
of that word.
And it's all
your opponent.
Yes,
was kind of a little overwhelmed.
Yes,
I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's such a great song, and the words you couldn't make that up. You couldn't make those words up, thinking they were just written for nobody.
Nope.
But
hey, Pat, we know you're on the road and you're about ready to catch
I'm gonna have to go there soon because I got a flight to Detroit.
Just real quick, we're going to see you Saturday night at the Kent Stage in Kent, Ohio. What should the people expect?
You going to be there, Ray?
I'm hoping to. That's the plan.
I would love to
That's
see
the
you
plan,
again, brother.
That's the plan.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. Pat, what are we looking forward to that night? Are you going to be rocking it out?
Yeah. My band is so freaking good, and it's a very high energy show.
Beautiful.
It's we really got it to a fine point. Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Oh man, Pat, can't look forward. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again, ladies and gentlemen, this Saturday night at the Kent Stage. Pat Travers. You still go by the Pat Travers Band, right?
That's right.
Okay, That's it. That don't change. The great Pat Travers and the Pat Travers Band. Pat, can't thank you enough for your time, and I know you're rushing, but thank you so much.
My pleasure, Ray, and I'll talk to you real soon.
Look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.